Yes, boys. Hope you've all had a good weekend. And let's jump right back into the Man City talk of the transfer news. Now, the only two current players that I think, strongly linked to, and I don't see anyone else coming in, and I'm starting to question if maybe these will come in, um, is Rodrigo and Donnarumma. Now, Donnarumma's a funny one because it looks like Ederson's going to leave, but then we've heard nothing about it. And funnily enough, Man City now for quite a while have tended to give nothing out media wise. They don't give any information out about potential signings or anything. You don't see strong links until it's progressed to a very late stage in the talks. Now, I think if Ederson leaves, I think Donnarumma has to come in. There's a couple worrying elements for me. Is if you don't get Donnarumma, you have to go and get someone else. Now, I don't know of any first choice keepers you could go and get now that would be better than James Trafford. I think we're very late into the window. I think there's just under 2 weeks left, maybe. So apart from a freak case like Donnarumma, where the club and the player have fallen out completely, and they both agree it's done, completely done, and that isn't just, oh well, if the right offer comes in, we'll sell you type done. This is, I don't want you near the squad done. So I think Donnarumma is the no-brainer, because for me, I don't understand how you could get a keeper that is above Trafford's level right now to come in and just play football and take them away from a team. You'd have to be spending top end of kind of 50 million plus. And then if you bring in someone in as a second choice goalkeeper, James Trafford, we're not quite sure what his ceiling is, although he had a very good game in my opinion. I'm not sure what his ceiling is. So then what do you do in terms of quality? Do you go for someone that you think is slightly under him, maybe around his kind of level? And that's a dangerous game in itself, because if neither of them work out, you're stuck with two keepers that you don't really want. Whereas if Gigi comes in and he's fighting for a place, for me, I think it works. It works out better. The price, I think, is going to be amazing. I think once you tell a player like Donnarumma, right, you can't be near the squad, not just, oh, we're looking to swap you, or we're looking to maybe have you as the backup, or what, we want you gone. We want you out. The PSG aren't in a strong position there. You cannot you cannot come out early with that information and be in a strong position. You can't. So I think we could probably get him for around 25 million. Now, if you're looking for a first choice goalkeeper of Donnarumma's quality, you're not getting anyone for 25 million. There's not another goalkeeper in the world for 25 million of Donnarumma's quality. Never going to happen. So that for me is a no-brainer. I think Donnarumma has to come in. The Ederson talks again are a weird one. We hear that always injured, always sick, always this is happening, this is happening. He's my number one goalkeeper as of now, which is wordplay in itself, right? But then you hear, oh, the concrete offers come in. That's the first initial offer, and then it's dead again. You don't hear anything, which is, I think, part of Man City's new kind of transfer business. It's give nothing. We don't want any information, and we're all sitting here as Man City fans just crying for information. And I think as we're getting into these last few weeks of the window, I think typically you haven't seen Man City do late transfer business anyway. I don't think it's great. I don't think Pep enjoys it. I think you want your squad nailed down. You want to know, okay, this is my squad. We're starting the season with these players. This is what's going on. I think for the players, it's probably slightly unsettling. Although, if that affects your gameplay, it isn't a good sign anyway. You should be able to rise above that and focus on yourself and your own game. Now, the Rodrigo one for me is the big transfer. This one, in my opinion, has to happen. You have to bring Rodrigo into this club. Now, this may upset some people. This may not upset some people. I would prefer Doku to leave and Savio to stay. Now, I know that's not a choice for us to make. We can't sit here and just say, "Oh well, you go and sign for this club," or "Is anyone interested in Doku?" It's not really how it works. I think the club was probably happy to go into the season with both of them again, and it's not to say that Doku doesn't deserve this season, right? This season for me is Doku's kind of final chance of, right, show me something. You've got to show me something more than you've already given us, okay? Savio's different. Number one, because he's younger. Number two, he's only been at the club a year. I think the Savio one, for me, I don't see how you could go back on it, because, and especially as fans, I think the club could probably move past it, and I think they, from the sounds of what Pep is saying, he would love Savio to stay. For me, I can't back a player that has bottled it at the sight of competition. Oscar Bob is guaranteed going to be holding down that right wing position. He's going to be holding it down somewhat. You have to perform if you're going to knock Oscar Bob off, because he's that type of player. Now, the thing is with that is you've seen it with Kyle Walker in the past, when people come in and they fight for a little bit of a right back position. We've seen it in the centre mid roles. You've seen it out wide. You see these things, and normally what you want is two people fighting for a position, and it brings out the best in both of them, because they both know, if I don't perform, I'm not playing. Simple as that. Now, Savio hasn't done that. Savio's turned and gone, get me out. I want minutes, safe minutes, and I want to be playing in the World Cup, which is, listen, that's his right. I've got no say in it. You know, if that's what he wants, if that's the type of character he is, go and do it. Enjoy your football. The thing that makes sense for me is Rodrigo coming in over everything. I think he's done it in the Champions League. He's done it in the league. He's got finishing ability that neither Doku or Savio have. I think he's a more complete player. I think his passing, his crossing, I think is a bit more on point. I think he knows a little bit more. He's a bit more kind of experienced in those moments in the Champions League and those big tournaments. They mean a lot. Even with the El Clasico, if you think about playing against Barcelona and how big some of those games are, when you're playing in them, you get a certain level of experience that you can't get if you're not doing it. You're not just born, unless you're born with the ability and you're a freak of a footballer, and you can just go and tear everything up from the word go. You can't get it. That you have to learn the composure from the pressure moments. Now, Savio had that choice. He's for me, he's chalked off. He doesn't want it. He said, "Do whatever you want to do." We're getting into this late stage now, and I spoke about it a little bit before, where for me personally, you need to get the squad nailed down. You need to have a squad where you're saying, this is my right winger, this is my left winger, this is my striker, goalkeeper, centre back. But you need it in. You don't want that unsettled kind of period. Now, the season's already started, so if a Rodrigo comes in, you want as much time as possible for him to come in, learn Haaland's movements, learn the rest of the team's movements. They learn his, and he gels in. Now, I don't think he'd have a problem with that, because I think he's a world-class player. I think he'd come in and do a pretty good job straight away. The other element of Rodrigo that's interesting, that I haven't seen spoken about a lot, is Marmoush will be leaving for the international tournament. at some point, which then leaves you with Doku on that left-hand side. If Doku's not playing out there, I don't really see who can go out there and fill that left wing spot properly. I don't really see it. I see Rodrigo in that left wing spot being such a boost, such a boost. Not only for the international tournament that where we lose Marmoush, but overall, I think the goals and assists that he would give City would be massive. I think they'd be absolutely huge. If you think about last season, I don't think it would have made a massive difference overall because I think defensively we were way too bad. That midfield was way too open. We gave away too many chances. We lost things. But there was games in that season where if you took out a Savio, where it's 1 goal for the whole season, and you put in a Rodrigo, and you even got 10, 12 goals out of him, and 13, 14 assists, those are games that maybe you're clawing back points. You're clawing back, and you're in it. And we've seen what Man City do when they're in it. If you give Man City, even if you're in front of Man City, but you give them a chance, if they can smell there's a little bit of a chance, you've got 6 points in it, maybe 9 points maximum. But if they can smell that coming into the last run of games, you're in big trouble. Big trouble. So I think last season it would have been massive for us to have another person scoring goals. I think it also takes weight off of Haaland. Listen, Haaland wants to score. He wants to do those things. But Rodrigo, there's a level of it where you're going, if he's through on goal, you're thinking goal. You're thinking, right, there we go, 1-0, 2-0. When Doku goes through on goal, when Savio goes through on goal, I've never sat there and thought, yeah, goal. I'm grabbing my chair, I'm shaking, I'm thinking, please. You're begging for it, right? So I think the Rodrigo one's massive. I also think the goalkeeper one's huge, just to not miss out on it. If you look at a Manchester United that's crying for a Donnarumma, I don't understand how they've not bought him. I don't get it. He probably doesn't want to go there. Who wants to go to United? There's nobody on earth now that's serious about football. I'm talking kind of at their peak that wants to go to United. What about United is appealing? Absolutely nothing. Now, he wouldn't go to Arsenal. He wouldn't go to Liverpool. So Chelsea's the one that you'd probably go, maybe they'll just splash it because why wouldn't they? But I think Donnarumma wants City. I think if there's a chance, I think he wants City. He's all over City. I think Rodrigo's the same, in my opinion. Because if you're leaving a club, number one, people have said, oh, he's not leaving, he's not doing that. He's never come out and shut anything down. Never. And this has been going on for a while. So it doesn't make sense for him to not shut it down if he's fully committing. And the manager keeps saying, Alonso keeps saying, oh, well, I trust in him. I've spoke to him. He's not said anything. Oh, like he's part of Real Madrid's plan. But he never gets the minutes that he deserves. So he's not. He's available, but he won't just leave to a club that he doesn't want to be at. Now, I don't understand how Arsenal didn't go in for Rodrigo. I think the money that they've spent is poor, like so bad. I don't know if it's their recruitment. I don't know if it's Arteta. I don't know what it is, but that club is so focused on defenders that they went out and bought a Madueke from Chelsea, who you're looking at going, why would you spend 50 odd million on him when you could go chuck another 30 million on top of that and get a Rodrigo? Why would you ever do it? Now, there's two things. Number one, they don't want to spend the cash. They're not serious about winning, which wouldn't surprise me. I think the signings they've made in the past doesn't scream serious about winning. I think the games that they've just played against United, they're not serious about winning. How are you clinging on for dear life against United? How? Absolutely nothing. Corner FC, if they don't score from a set piece, they've got nothing. Saka's an absolute ghost, hasn't done anything. Odegaard we saw last season, absolute fraudulent season from him. I don't get how they didn't get him in. But these two players for me, Man City, have to get in, and they have to get him in quickly and get it done, seal the doors and say, right, let's get serious now. You've seen what we've done in that first match. And we've now got Donnarumma coming in. We've got Rodrigo out on the left or the right. You've got Rodri to come back. You've got Foden to come back. And we should be winning the league. We should be winning the league. If you get those two transfers in, we should be winning the league. There's nothing that screams out about Liverpool's performance that was scary. I think, listen, they could improve easily, and they could go on and be a real good solid team. But right now they don't look solid. I think Van Dijk's past it probably. He runs away from the ball anytime there's a chance of defending. He runs away, gives it to someone else, and says, "You deal with it. I can't look bad." I think Wirtz will probably need more time to settle in than people think. Ekitike for me looks decent. He probably looked better in that first game than most of us thought. But I think they'll need a bit more time to gel, and they've lost some decent players. They've took some decent players out. So there's a period with Liverpool that I think they're going to have to go through before they challenge again. Well, not challenge. They will be challenging, but before they win it, for me, in my opinion. Man City, get these transfers done, and I think we've got a promising look of this season. We're already looking good. And if Savio stays, I'm over the moon. I think Savio's got real potential in there, but I want him to really put himself forward and say, no, I want to fight for my minutes. I want to do this. I want to compete. I want to be here. Because if not, just leave. Just leave. Don't waste our time. Don't waste your time. Just leave. Because you're never going to make it. You've got Oscar Bob already on that right wing. And if he stays fit, I can see why you wanted to leave. But listen, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Again, if you could give me a little subscribe, a little like, and then wait for the next video, and we'll talk about more Man City news. Cheers, boys.